Hey there, it's the Dutchman's Master and welcome to part 4 of Let's Build My Dream Gym in The Sims 4. So in the previous 3 episodes we built everything you see over here, and I've asked you for your feedback, which I've gotten a lot and which I've implemented in the build already. And in this episode I will implement some new parts of your suggestions as well, and also I'll simply continue working on with what I come up with myself. In the previous episode, one thing we talked about were these 3 banners which we had over here, and there were some different opinions on this, but mainly most people said that they like the 3 different colors. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it that way because that's personally the way I like it as well. Also, someone suggested that I should put a tree in this awkward triangle over here, which is a good idea, but I just realized looking at the build before starting to record to sort of plan what I was going to build, that I still need a way to access that part, and therefore I will sort of remove this awkward triangle by just having some overhang over here, which I guess works out as well. And personally, I'm not really a fan adding trees on the building or adding plants on the building or on this building, especially because this is going to be so industrial, and personally I don't think that plants really fit that industrial look. It's definitely not that industrial designs never have plants. Actually, they often do, but for this one I personally just don't think I just don't really like the look of it. Also because it just doesn't look really nice, if you ask me, for this one. And I wanted to try something different as well. Though you might say that trying something different is actually by adding plants. Personally, I'm just not going to do it. Sorry, but I did read your suggestion, you know. So don't worry to don't be scared by the fact that I might not implement the idea that you suggest, but it's, you can always suggest it. It's not wrong if you suggest something that in the end will not be added, I guess. I personally also think that that's not something that can be expected, I guess. Let's see, can this work out? It might be very busy in this way, or at least chaotic, sort of. Let me think, because we've got the half walls, and the half walls are going to save this building, if you ask me, because they just look really good and they're gonna make sure that this looks cool in the end. But I've just got to figure out a way to make it look best, because obviously it is sort of a strange structure, which is what I think is cool about this. So yeah, this can work out if this becomes black as well. There we go. And then this, I'm not too sure if I'm a fan of this, because it might be, like I said, too chaotic. Okay, then I've got another suggestion. Removing this and then going for something a little bit less chaotic but still cool looking. One cool part about this as well is the fact that you can add lights alongside, like those, these things, those black things, which looks pretty cool if you ask me, especially if I'm, for instance, adding a bar, which is what I'm going to be doing, adding some industrial lights there, and you've got like one of the coolest designs ever. So by the way, if you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, to just stay up to date with whatever I do outside of YouTube, and also to know whenever I'm going to upload and what I'm going to upload, just check it out. It's always at Dutch Sims Master, or on Instagram I believe it's at Dutch Sims 4 Master, but that doesn't really matter. It's something along those lines, and then you can stay up to date with what I'm doing. One other suggestion I read was to add the climbing wall on a balcony instead of indoors. Well, I'm definitely going to add it indoors, but I did find it a cool idea to add them outdoors as well, simply because it looks cool. So I've got to figure out a way to add them somewhere, because they are huge to add. First of all, I've got to find them. There we go. Climbing wall. Because you might need 3 levels. Okay, this is a place it could fit. Also, it looks cool because the road can look on this area. So I guess I'm going to add 2 walls next to each other over here. Because in that way, we've got something to fill this area up with as well. And it simply looks pretty cool, if you ask me. Then we've got this, so we can add a border around it. Okay, can't intersect other objects. Well, that's logical because it's The Sims, you never can. But therefore we've got move objects on, which always gets me out of trouble when I want something that The Sims doesn't really like. Yeah. I might not be too... Yeah, it looks cool, but I've got to build something around it because the way, for some reason, the way they're built, sort of, they're just different than the rest of the build, if you ask me. You might get what I mean. They just look different, the way they're designed, sort of. So maybe I can build something around it because it is cool if you've got those climbing walls. I'm not too sure in what way they're still functional if I do this. Well, that's definitely not going to be functional anymore. Also, they've got to be the same way, like this. Let me think. Is this a cool idea? Yeah, the idea is cool. I can't change that, but how am I going to implement this? That's the question. Because in this way it sort of looks out of context, if you ask me. Obviously we also need to have this behind it then, which is perfectly fine. That doesn't cause a problem. Right, first I'll figure out what I'm going to do here. I was thinking of adding these windows so that you can actually see into the lab pool down here. Because of far, you know, that's cool. Which it is. Then over here I could add another... Wait, haven't I added a pillar over there? Wait a second. I've got to add that pillar on the corner because otherwise it doesn't look good. I could add some more like box design around here to make it look better, sort of, and more industrial, and especially to make it fit well with the surroundings. So what that would look like is something like this. Maybe I should add these, but I'm not too sure. I could add these, but I don't think that will actually make it look better, to be honest. So, because, you know, we've already got this system or this thing going to the left already. So if I'm adding it over here as well, that just doesn't really work. Yeah, this is hard. I've got to implement them in some way because I do think it's cool to have them on the roof. But I just don't know how. Because the way they're black and the color and like generally just, you know, they're sort of shiny and the rest of the building is sort of matte. So that just doesn't really fit, if you ask me. But we can do something about it by, like I said, creating a box around this structure. Which is sort of a challenge. Yeah, you've got to access it from here, right? Yes, that's what it says. So then we do need to have... This is possible, then this won't be accessible. That doesn't really matter. First adding this side over here. Because then I'll just make this some sort of just decorative area, sort of. Because not everything has to be accessible. Also, for instance, this part isn't going to be accessible, so it doesn't really matter. It just has to look good because there's like plenty of space which is accessible, so then it doesn't really matter. And then what we could do is create it like this, and then because you've also got like a height limit, which isn't the height limit set for the, well, you know, the, okay, what am I saying? It's very hard to really concentrate or come up with an idea and at the same time talk in such a way that it makes sense. But what I wanted to say was that the height limit over here is like the second height, even though you need like the highest or the tallest tallness sort of, and that makes it hard to figure something out because therefore they don't really match. But I do want this to be on the first level, or the, well, at least not on the ground floor, because I think it's cooler if it's not. So this is a suggestion, and then I'm gonna leave it up to you to say what you think of this. And I read, you know, it's my dream gym, so therefore I should make the decisions. But I still think it's cool, you know, if you have suggestions to that I can add it, sort of, because in that way it's going to be sort of your dream gym as well, I guess. Because I think most people have some sort of the same wishes when it comes to having a gym. So yeah, that's sort of the reason why I'm asking you. Also, you know, it keeps you involved, which I think is cool. So what it would be like is this. Okay, there we go. Also having the lines which we've got in the back or in the front over here above the pool, adding that over here as well. There we go. So let me know what you think of this, or at least if you see something, you see potential, because if you don't, then I might have to remove this because I'm not too sure. It looks pretty cool in this way, I guess, and it should work because they can just climb it. It's just a question whether this is like the best solution, sort of, because that's always what I'm looking for. Then the roof will be extended a little bit. And then we're going to continue looking at the inside again, just to make sure that we've got enough space around here. The first level doesn't, or the ground level doesn't really matter, because that one's probably big enough anyways. And here we've got some space, which is accessible from here. For like group lessons, maybe. Something like that. Then it's cool if we've got a huge window out here, because that makes, otherwise such a hallway, I hate it when hallways are only lit up with like just regular lights, because it's just not natural, and I always like it when you've got like natural lighting coming in. So therefore also this hallway should have that. Maybe I could add some shower rooms over here as well, because I know that was one of the suggestions. And in that way I get a little bit more, you know, the building becomes more dynamic, or at least it's just, yeah. Otherwise, you know, you've got one tall and boring wall, and in this way you actually get like a cool shape going, I guess. Let me think. Because then I do want to add like some cool showers. Cool looking, at least. They can be warm, but I want to have cool looking showers. For men and women. And then I guess it would be this way. You know, also just having your own little private bathroom, sort of. Which is pretty luxurious, but hey, it's a dreams gym, so everything should be possible. Yeah, and I've still got this hot tub laying around, and this seems like some sort of cool place to add it, maybe. Because I don't exactly know where I would add it otherwise. But first of all, I will continue this structure as well, which we've got going out here, because I just think it looks cool. Looking back at it, I'm like, that's pretty cool looking. and then I will judge whether I want to continue the hot tub placement out there as well. Why don't I have the pillars? There we've got pillars. I always copy things because I'm sort of too lazy to just look for them again, and if you copy them often it's just much quicker. That's just another little hack, because as you see, most of the items I've used I've added already somewhere in the build, and therefore I don't have to look for them, and that saves a lot of time. And then we can make this a little corner window, meaning that I can add this over here as well. That's strange. Yeah, indeed, that's the problem. In this case, copying didn't really work out because I copied the taller version, which wouldn't really have caused a problem, but it's just not the best way to do it, I guess. And then I think I'm going to add this over here above it. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Over here as well, and then we can create or use these around them, and then it looks cool. There we go. And then this would be like a little hot tub area outdoors. Cool idea. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool if we've got like a hot tub area somewhere. And maybe, by the way, I am adding some plants somewhere, but then little potted plants, sort of like these. I'm looking for them. Not this one. Well, nope. Yeah, no, I don't think so. The ones I meant were these ones, and then like close together, sort of. And maybe that one is too big and I will not add it, but in the plant tank, which I'm adding right now, or just the plant area, because that's what I imagined this to be, it would work out to have like some plants there, because otherwise it's pretty boring. So then you've got two hot tubs together, and then we can copy this one to the other side, and then we can fill these up with those plants which I just showed you in this way. See it? There you go. You know, because in that way you've still got some natural stuff around you when you're in the hot tub, but it doesn't look like a half jungle, because that's just not what I like, and therefore I'm not adding it in my dream gym. Then here I can add some windows again, I guess, because I sort of want to optimize the space I've got, as you might notice, because like almost the entire lot is built full with stuff. But in that way it just looks cool, because otherwise if you've got too much gardening going on, it doesn't really look like a commercial building anymore. I mentioned that in a previous episode as well, the fact that often when I build commercial things, they start looking like houses, which is what I don't really like. But with this one, I'm trying to prevent that from happening. Here we go. I am adding windows in that one actually, because then we can make the entrance to this outside area with the hot tubs. Yep. So adding some glass, which we've got over here. There we go. And in that way you can really make those regular boring tall windows, which I do use for like most of my builds simply because they look best. You can make them look so much cooler by adding those industrial frames. I mean, these are totally different windows, but they still look cool. Which I can just be happy about that, I'm sorry. Here we go. Because we do want to have that covered, because otherwise the windows don't really make sense. And then over here some construction, and then let me think, because then we go to the last level. I can still, I can't open this one up because otherwise this corner will look strange, but I can open this one. Because I'm not too sure yet what I'm going to do there. I was initially thinking of making this the entrance, but I think it's actually better if I add the entrance there, because then we've got a cool eating area over here, and actually I can extend the patio as well, adding also some outdoor seating areas, and then over here we've got a bar, and I'm going to add some other chairs as well, but not too much because it's not a restaurant, it's still a gym, and it should be clear that it's just a gym. But you know, if you have a really cool gym, you also want to be able to just, you know, eat something there. So I'm giving the people the opportunity. Whoops, I wanted this one. There we go. I'm not entirely sure about this yet. Inside it's big enough, I think. It should be at least. Maybe it's even cool to, but yeah, that might actually, because I really like the way those things looked. Yeah, because I can of course add this instead of the walls, and in that way it's much more open, which might look cool. You know, whenever we really get into the interior, I'll think about that. There's like a ton of opportunities or possibilities to do that. There we go. Just doing some details. You know, I always find it sort of annoying having to do all the details, because simply, yeah, you just forget them very quickly, but they do make that building look much better. So whenever you change it, it is sort of rewarding, but it takes quite some time, and you have to be very specific and copy a lot, and then some things don't copy in The Sims, and then that's just annoying. Yeah, is this patio a cool idea? Because it's just above the hot tubs. That might not be like a really cool idea. I mean, it's not very private then. Maybe it's cooler if it's just an entire extended part, you know, not open, and then we can have a patio over here. That sounds like a better plan. So how we're going to do that? We add this. Oh no. This, I mean, and then we remove these, fix this, add some wall painting stuff over there, and then that looks pretty epic, if you ask me, because then you've really got like a really cool view over like the pool and the ocean as well from there, which, like I mentioned, is really cool, because you know, those cool gyms always have Instagram accounts, and then if they've got an Instagram account, they can, you know, post pictures, and that way more people will just visit the gym and take a subscription. They'll earn more money, and then they can do even cooler things, I guess. You know, we've got an entire business plan for this entire gym set up. How am I gonna do this? Because I want this to look like some sort of cool overhanging box, I guess, which is generally what this entire building is about, because we've got that overhanging pool and overhanging outdoor basketball area. Yeah, this is something I'm going to think about later, because also you can leave a suggestion about this one as well, just like you can leave a suggestion about the climbing wall area, because I'm very interested to hear what you think about that. But anyways, we've been going for 24 minutes already, like you just saw, so I'm going to end this episode here, but I want to thank you for watching. I hope you can leave some suggestions, and then I hope to see you back later.